I really fucking hate J.J. Abrams. I mean, I can't exactly say how much I hate him, but I really, really hate this man. Not enough to kill him, but enough that I want him to just shut up and stop making movies. Because I was reading this article, and all he does is just circle jerk for 5 hours, claiming that people who don't like The Last Jedi are sexist. That's not a good thing to say in any context. In no context would you call your fans sexist. That's a very, very good way to lose the customers. Well, you're gonna call us sexist? Well, let's see how you like it when you've run out of money and no one's buying your precious films. Boo-hoo! And it's to benefit the women who are disenfranchised and are being held down by the evil patriarchy. Well, boo-hoo. Just because they're women doesn't mean I can't criticize it. Because guess what? Sex doesn't mean that the character is free from being criticized. It doesn't. And it certainly as hell doesn't mean that they're good. I mean, there are lots of bad women characters, and there are lots of bad male characters. The problem is not that they are women, the problem is that they are poorly written. And the other problem is that Rian Johnson fucked up Luke Skywalker just so he could prop Rey up and show how powerful she is. Just because they're powerful doesn't mean they're likable either. I mean, no one gives a shit about Rey because she's powerful. People hate Rey for the most part. Heck, people care about Leia, even though she got kidnapped and had to be saved. But she's still a strong character. The thing is, though, is that she had to overcome weaknesses and obstacles that were put into her way. Rey had no obstacles put into her way. Just because she's poor doesn't mean that that's an obstacle. It doesn't. I mean, she runs around getting scrap metal. So what? And there's no obstacles for her in the film other than that she's poor. I mean, she can fly the Millennium Falcon, but no one knows how she's able to fly it. She doesn't know how to use a lightsaber or the Force, and yet she's able to do it within seconds. And she was able to defeat Mr. Belvedere without any problem. If that's starting to sound boring, that's because it is. I mean, if these characters were men, people would be up in arms and saying, these guys suck. But because they're women, automatically you can be passed because you're helping them out, even though you're actually hurting them by giving them unrealistic expectations. No one can live up to those expectations that characters like Rey have. Not men, not women. No one can. But then you turn around and say, oh, a woman should be allowed to be fat. Okay, first of all, if they can't live up to the expectations of being skinny, what makes you they can live up to the expectations of being Hercules? Please explain this to me, because I'm dying to know. And you don't care about the women. Hell, you don't even care about the minorities. You haven't had to deal with the stuff they've had to deal with, and you call us the ones who are privileged? I'm sorry, but you're privileged up the ass, JJ. You sit in your little 50-kilometer mansion and jerk off to yourself in the mirror. You haven't gotten harassed in an alley. You haven't had to see starving children. You haven't had to hope that your son is going to come back tomorrow alive without getting shot at. You haven't seen how many cops have been killed in broad daylight. You don't know the struggles that the black people in America have to suffer from because they live in poverty. You don't even care about the white farmers in South Africa who are being brutally murdered. You don't care about any of these people. All you care about is sitting in your 50-kilometer mansion in Beverly Hills, far away from any of that. You haven't actually seen anything wrong. You haven't been beaten up. You haven't been talked down to. You haven't been harassed. And neither has your wife or any of the people you work with. None of you have been harassed. None of you are even close to being as an awful of a situation as the people in Africa, in Asia, who are suffering day and night. And you complain about the middle class being privileged? Please. You're the most privileged person on this planet. Even the middle class is having its problems right now because of you jackasses, because all you do is siphon money out and force us to buy these awful movies. You talk down to us when we're the ones who do most of the work to make these movies successful. And you don't respect us. Why should we respect you? You racist piece of shit. I mean, you talk about how we need to have less white people in the movie industry. That's like saying we need less black people in the movie industry. It's the same fucking concept. But because you're talking about a minority, and because you use them as human shields to block how awful your movies are, all of a sudden it's alright. Then again, neither have I. But at the very least, I know I have a pretty good life. And I know that a lot of people also have very good lives too. But you don't care about these people. You haven't donated to charity. You haven't actually tried to help these people out. You haven't done anything. You just sit in your mansion and just jerk off to yourself in the mirror. And honestly, you can't speak for the poor. You can't even speak for your own self. Because you have no voice. You have no creative bone in your body. You can't even you can't make a movie without stealing from other people. You stole the ideas You stole the ideas of Cloverfield from the Blair Witch Project and Godzilla. You stole a lot of other movie ideas from people like Gene Roddenberry. All you do is work on franchises, and then you take their other movies and copy them down and just rebrand them as new movies. That's what your career is based around, is just taking movies and remaking them and passing them off as sequels, when they're not. They're just shitty remakes. And don't even get me started on Lost. That was a piece of shit. In fact, everything you've made is a piece of shit. Stop making movies. Stop making anything. Just live off of what you've already made. Because that's what you need to do. You need to stop making movies, stop making TV shows, and just shut your goddamn mouth. Because everything that comes out of your mouth makes me hate you even more. I mean, it's surprising how racist you are, and you just get away with it, when anyone else would not get away with it. And no, you really don't care about minorities at all. Because you use them as shields to deflect criticisms of your god-awful movies. Seriously, what the hell? Because no one cares if you're taking away the male point of view. No one gives a shit. Rey could have been a perfectly good character if you just sat down and actually gave her a few things to try to overcome. Give her some weaknesses. Other than just being a bitch. Honestly. Rey could have been a great character, but because you were too lazy, you just wrote her in this awful way. And if Episode 9 fails, don't blame the fans, because that's all on you. You're the one who called us racists. You're the one who said that it was entirely our fault as to why the movie failed. Not yours, ours. Because that is how you market a film. Because you don't take responsibility for your actions, and you throw everyone away. I mean, what else am I supposed to say now? I mean, seriously, what else am I supposed to say now? You shot yourself in the leg once, and now you're probably going to lose that leg. So congratulations, Abrams, Kathleen Kennedy, and all the other idiots up at Disney. Enjoy the next fiscal year. It's going to be a very, very kind one to you. And I'm not doing this to bash women, alright? Because guess what? My mom is a huge Star Wars fan. A huge Star Wars fan, in fact. And she did not go to see The Last Jedi after she heard that they had turned Luke into an asshole, just that way they could prop up Rey. Because Rey is the most important character in the world, even though her toys are still sitting on the store shelves from 2 fucking years ago, rotting away on the shelves. And you think this character is like the next coming of Jesus, but she's not. She's just really, really crappy. No one cares about Rey. They care more about Kylo Ren, the villain. You know, that whiny bitchy guy who wants to be Ben Solo but just can't because he's too much of a whiny bitch. Yeah, they care more about him than they do about Rey, because Rey is way too unlikable. That's just sad when a Columbiner is more likable than the character who you want us to root for. And again, in this article, they have to bring up the alt-right to, again, strawman, even though Rotten Tomatoes himself said, yeah, these are all legitimate criticisms. These all come from the customer. They're all there. But you keep saying, no, it's the alt-right that's doing it. It's like with the whole Trump-Russia collusion, alright? And this is just how immature these people are. They can't accept responsibility for their own actions, and they blame everyone else for,
no reason other than they don't want to accept responsibility. And they come up with the dumbest of reasons just to do so. And keep in mind that Star Wars is incredibly popular, but after The Last Jedi, it dropped so dramatically that it's probably lower than Star Trek at this point. That's how bad this is. That is literally how bad this is. So you did something to piss everyone off, and yeah, that makes it your fault. So what? Just suck it up and realize, okay, we fucked up. And apparently Disney already realized, yeah, we did kind of fuck up because they have to actually crack down on the Lucasfilm Story Group, who is too busy playing with themselves and kissing each other to actually make sure this canon that Disney has created is consistent. Because the Disney canon itself is a complete mess, and The Last Jedi just confirmed that even more. Because it denies everything that happened in any of the previous movies. It doesn't even connect with the original trilogy. If you're going to make the argument that the Disney canon is better than Legends, please tell me you can't do so without bringing up The Last Jedi, and how little it has to do with the actual trilogy that started the whole damn thing. How are you supposed to combat that? How are you? Please tell me. It just continued to piss on the legacy of the original trilogy characters. And it made people actually realize, okay, maybe the prequels weren't as bad as we remember them. But this is just atrocious. Across the board. And you've actually redeemed the prequels in people's minds. Now, I'm a person who actually likes the prequels, but still, though, I'm surprised people actually began to say, okay, the prequels aren't as bad as we remember them. And that's all thanks to The Last Jedi. I would never imagine a time where we're actually saying, please bring us back more stuff from the prequels. Because this is just how poorly Disney has handled the canon. This is how poorly Disney has handled The Last Jedi. And it's especially how poorly J.J. Abrams has handled it. I mean, good lord, this guy had to constantly bug Pablo Hidalgo non-stop, because apparently he's a super fan, but he knows nothing about Star Wars other than the original trilogy and the prequels. He didn't read the books, he didn't play the games, he didn't read the comics, didn't do any of that. He just all of a sudden decided, hey, I want to direct a movie, and so he did, and by the end of it, I'm sure Pablo Hidalgo was probably thinking, oh, I just want to go to bed, stop calling me at 3 a.m. And that's what this is. That's how that was probably created. And this time there's no hiding under identity politics, or your ethnicity, or anything else. Now, you just have one job. And that's not fuck it up. Although considering how awful you are at pretty much everything except annoying people, maybe you might want to consider another job, JJ. Maybe you just might want to consider another job. I'm just saying. So in short, fuck J.J. Abrams and fuck Disney. Fuck both of them. And especially fuck the Lucasfilm Story Group and Kathleen Kennedy. They can also go stick their finger up their dykes.
That is the most hideous thing I have ever seen! You call that entertainment? You pay $9 to see that?
10 on the weekends!
Flee! Flee to the safe haven of our clean undersea utopia! Utopia! I'm coming, baby!